Hello, it's Erin. I'm back. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Book Talk. Today we are discussing November 9th by Colleen Hoover. This is Colleen Hoover's not most recent book, but it just came out a few years ago. I'm late to the party when it first came out. I bought it when it first came out. Did I read it right away? No. But I eventually got around to reading it. I read it a few months ago. I loved it so much. It's one of my favorite Colleen Hoover books. Next to Ugly Love, of course, but Ugly Love will still hold a place in my heart. Next to this, I love this book a lot, but it will always be Ugly Love, and I like this book a lot also. Probably be my second favorite thus far, because there's a certain characters and a certain cameo that happens in this book, and it was so good. I love this book because of the characters. It took a little harder for me to get into it. The storyline was so good. I love this book. I love Colleen Hoover's writing. It just sucks you in, and her writing is so addicting. You just want to keep reading and then it ends and the chapters are short, and before you know it, the chapter's over and you have to go to bed because it's late and you just want to read more. And it took me a while to read this book because I like to savor it, and with any Colleen Hoover book, or any book for that matter, I like to just savor it so that I can just go in with this book and have a good time and read. And this book is very good. It takes place in two POVs of the girl and the boy, as done in Ugly Love. If you haven't read Ugly Love, it's the same way, same format. I don't know if this is what she's been doing recently, but I know that this is a way of her writing that I like a lot, because we get a POV of both characters and you didn't get confused because it was not like it was a pattern. It was just like maybe Fallon for like 2 chapters and then it was maybe Ben for the other 2, which I liked. And I like getting both POVs because both stories were important to the novel, obviously, and we like to get both perspectives on it. And every minute of this book was so good. I love the premise of it. Colleen Hoover does very good writing. I enjoyed it a lot. Not as much as I enjoyed Ugly Love. So far, that's my top favorite Colleen Hoover book. But right now, I love November 9th. It was very good. I blew through it. And if you have not read a Colleen Hoover book, I recommend you do. It'll be the best thing you ever read. It's so good. So I think this is new adult. I'm not positive. I think Ugly Love was new adult. I think this is new adult. I'm not positive. So anybody under the age of 13, I don't recommend you read these books. There are probably other Colleen Hoover books out there that are probably age appropriate that you could probably pick up. I'm not positive. I'm new to Colleen Hoover's writing. This is like the second book I've read. But if you have the opportunity and you're over the age of 13, read the book. It's so good. It'll suck you in. Most of BookTube's read it. I can't say anything more without spoiling. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a synopsis without spoilers. This book is basically about this girl, and we open up with this character named Fallon, 18, and so is the main character, Ben. And basically, they're living in California, and it takes place over the course of November 9th, which is a very specific date for a very specific reason. I'm not going to say because of spoilers, but events lead up to it, and they have this arrangement, and I like the idea of arrangements that Colleen Hoover puts in her writing, because there was an arrangement in Ugly Love and there's an arrangement in this book, not as intense as the one in Ugly Love, but still an arrangement, and I like that idea of what she's writing, and it gives like the story depth. It gives the dramatic effect of the book, and it gives the idea of the conflict of the characters, the climax, everything that happens in the book, and the arrangement was really good, and obviously all arrangements do come to some type of conflict, and the way it came out was good. There are actually numerous ones, and then there was small ones, and then there was a big one at the end that just turned the book upside down, and just affected me deeply. It was shocking. I read the end, and I'm going to discuss this in the spoiler section, but oh my god, shocking! I had seen Christine Rich's review of, she said she loved this book. I had heard about it from her, and she recommended it to anybody who loves Colleen Hoover. I didn't like it as much as she did. Ugly Love is still my favorite, but I still love this book. Don't get me wrong. I still love this book, but not as much as I loved Ugly Love. Right now it's my second. I still gotta read 8 Eyes with Us, which hopefully I get to soon. But this book was so good. I loved every minute of it. It's just not my favorite yet. It's not my favorite. Nothing's gonna beat Ugly Love, but this was still good, and I still enjoyed it. That's all I can say without spoilers. So if you do not want to know anything about the book, and you just want to go in and read it and not know about it, ignore this section if you want. People have read it. We're going to start the spoiler section right now, but those of you who have not read it, read the book, come back, and we'll discuss it. Now, I'm going to go into spoilers now, so Bye, not spoiled people. Bye. Again, I warned you. You can watch it, but you will get spoiled. Do yourself a favor, people, subscribers, fans, friends. Do not get spoiled because you will regret it. So again, bye, not spoiled people. Bye. The book opens up with Fallon and Ben at the diner. And I don't know if it was a diner or a restaurant. Does it matter? I don't know. I just thought it was a restaurant, watching Christine's book talk. Apparently at the diner, I don't know. We're just going to go with restaurant for now. That's how I see it. I like the idea of the restaurant. We open up the book and she's like, I want to kill him right now. I want to throw this over his head. And I'm thinking, is she an actress? Is she in a scene right now? Because I had no idea about this book. All I knew was it was about an aspiring author and this girl. I read the blurb in the back briefly, or on Goodreads I read it, but I didn't know much about it, which is a good thing if you're going to go into a book. And I thought she was an actress or she was like filming a scene for something, and it's like, oh no, she's talking to her father. And I'm like, why does she have this hatred for her father? Then it turns out that we thought he was responsible for the fire, because then we learn about the fire and what happened with her and why she has a scarred face. Now, I had a little bit of a hard time getting into the book because I don't read much about books about like our protagonist or the main character with insecurities being like, I have a scar on my face and I don't have confidence. So that's why it was a little hard for me to get into, because I'm not really used to that. I get Divergent and Triss had, like, she wasn't confident either, but this was different and a different level of confidence. I'm not used to reading the idea of a character saying like, I'm gonna have to wear all these clothes because I'm not self-confident enough or something like that. And it was a really good concept for the story because we saw Fallon progress as a character and see her mindset change and everything that happened in the book with her confidence in the way she spoke and talked to people. She was basically sort of like an introvert, and she was not an actress anymore. We learned she was an actress on a show because of the fire, and that ruined her career. And she did audiobooks and she felt like she wasn't good enough, and then her father was telling her all this stuff like, hi, you're not good enough to be an actress because you're not good looking. I understand that maybe she doesn't have the facial recognition to be an actress, but her father was just harping on her dreams. Honestly, I didn't like her father. I thought he was a little bit of an a-hole because he was being mean and everything, but at the end of the book, when we find out that he wasn't the cause of the fire, because we thought he was the cause of the fire. Ben was the cause of the fire, and he's the one who caused the fire. I got a little bit more respect for her father towards the end, because obviously we're in Fallon's POV. We think we hate him because of what happened, but as the story progresses, towards the end, I liked her father a little bit more, but I hate the way that he treated her because of the fact that he was against her dreams of being an actress and everything like that. So I didn't like her father at first because obviously she doesn't like her father, but then she has a deeper respect for him because she finds out that he didn't cause the fire. Ben did. Oh my god, can we talk about that? Like, alright, we gotta go like step by step. Now, when Ben shows up at the restaurant, well, he was there. He's like, babe, I'm late. I'm sorry. And she's pretending to be her boyfriend because she's trying to make a point to his father. And I'm like, why is this random guy showing up and just pretending to be her boyfriend? Why? And I was so confused. I'm just as confused as Fallon is because obviously she has no idea what's going on. We have no idea what's going on. Right to the end, nobody does that. I thought it was funny because she's like, what the hell is going on? And it was just random, and then we learned this is how their relationship starts. And they compare stories about this, that, and the other thing, and their relationship grows towards the end. And when she recommends that they do this arrangement every November 9th, their relationship progresses, but it also has its downward spiral. I just thought it was weird that he just shows up in the middle of the restaurant and he's trying to make a point to his father, and then we find out why he made the point to her father, because he wanted to make up for the loss that he caused Fallon. Let me tell you, when drama hits the fan, I was like, what the hell is that? Like, what is going on? Like, major plot twists. We read from Ben's manuscript. That's how we find out about it. Because Kyle punched him in the face because we wanted to know why, and we didn't know why until we read the manuscript. And I like how Colleen Hoover incorporated Ben's manuscript into the book, because as an author, I loved reading that aspect of Ben wanting to write, and I like reading manuscripts in the book. It was a very unique way of incorporating Ben's story into the book without him actually admitting it, and just going into the book, and rather than reading it through dialogue, it's through a manuscript. And like it's like a manuscript format and everything. If you read it in a book form or ebook, you know what I'm talking about. I like the idea of like reading it through Fallon's eyes. We're reading it as if we're reading it for the first time, as well as like we're reading along with her. Obviously, she's the main character. And when I read about that fire, it must have been like 2 o'clock in the morning because I read late. You guys know that. And I was like, oh my god! I was shocked beyond belief. Like, I didn't know what was up with Ben. I didn't think he had a sketchy side. I kind of got this whole demeanor from him, like, he's a normal kid, he does normal things, but he did have weird reasons for pretending to be a boyfriend. I thought he was trying to kind of his heart. Clearly I was wrong, but sort of. I guess I was close, but who knew all this plot twist stuff was going to happen before that? Not me, that's for sure. Reading it from the manuscript, it was like reading about the fire. I was like, what the hell was that? And then I'm like thinking maybe Fallon thinks this is fiction and it's not real, but it is, because he's basing the book off their life. I like the idea that he's making them characters and he's writing it based off his experience. It's fiction, but yet it's non-fiction at the same time, which is a good concept, which is why his agent liked it and why the book will get published. I hope it did. We don't know much more after this book ends, but maybe we'll get some cameos from them in another Colleen Hoover book, which I'm hoping for because I love cameos. It did have its bad points, obviously. Kyle dies in a car accident. The arrangement breaks up. She didn't show up. He asked her to stay. They left. Okay, I'm gonna go in order here. When Kyle dies in the car accident, he's expecting Fallon to show up. I said, you know what? Fallon's gonna show up. I know it. And it actually happened. I was like, that's the point of my book, where I was like, yep, saw that coming. That's like one of my favorite parts of the book, because it's tragic, but my favorite part of the book, and I have to say it, I don't know why I love this part of the book, but it's because Miles and Tate showed up at the cameo there. I just ugly love cameo. I was freaking out. I was like, yes. Because you know what? Ahead of time on Goodreads, I'm not supposed to do this. Right before I read Lady Midnight, I read on a forum on Goodreads that said, Miles and Tate make an appearance on November 9th, and I was like, what? No way! And I was so excited. I wanted to read the book right away before Lady Midnight, but I knew I had to get all this reading done. So the book trailer for this book really got me going too. Between the cameo and the book trailer, I was like, oh, I'm so excited to read about their cameo. And they were in it more than I thought. But ironically, I was more invested in Ben and Fallon's story than Miles and Tate's story. I liked that they were there. Tate was pregnant. This must have took place towards the end of where Ugly Love was, because at the end of Ugly Love, she had the kid. If you haven't read Ugly Love, just mute this little part. This must take place because, like, at the end of Ugly Love, Tate was pregnant, but then they mentioned that she had a kid named Sam. So I'm assuming this is right before she had Sam. I'm not positive. Unless she was pregnant with another kid. Everybody had all these theories, but oh my god, she was pregnant. Because Jordan was pregnant at the same time. They were due at the same time. That must have been her first child. And Miles was such a protective father, and I was just like, oh, I can't. I love this. I love this so much. I loved the whole Miles and Tate. It was great to see them since Ugly Love, and they were great. I loved reading that book, and it was a nice cameo seeing those two come back and hearing their story and seeing what they've been up to since Ugly Love, and the fact that they're married, a protective father and husband. I love that. I love seeing them. Obviously, because Ian is Ben's brother, and Miles and Ian are childhood friends because they know each other, and I love that. Because I read about Ian, and I'm just like, flight school, and I was like, oh my god, he's from Ugly Love. This is how they're going to incorporate the cameo. And I just loved that. I loved Ian. I loved seeing him and getting more of his story, because he made a little bit appearances in Ugly Love, but not much. As a character, he was there, but in November 9th, he was there. He was a little bit more of a character than he was in Ugly Love, but he was still there, and I loved him. I just loved that. Ian was one of my favorite characters in Ugly Love. He's one of my favorite characters in this book, but the fact that he was Ben's brother made me so happy, and I love this book a lot more because of it. And the book had its funny moments too, with the whale pants and the club, but obviously their relationship does progress over the fact of the book. He gives her more confidence, which I liked, because obviously he's the reason why she is scarred, and he wants to get her back to the way she was, and getting her to wear different clothes and get her to get out there and be more herself and be a normal girl again, and just not lose what she had started to progress to be before the fire. And I like that. And then he met her roommate, and he's saying about the panties, and it was so funny. And then he started undressing her and getting the dress on her before they went to dinner, and I'm like, where's this going? It was kind of supposed to be sensual, cute, but yet like kind of sexual at the same time, and I liked reading that. All of Colleen Hoover's scenes were so hot. The club scene where they were at the club, they had a lot of altercations, book that I cannot mention, but I'm just going to go after the fact, where she was with that guy named Theodore because she was dating him because she was trying to get over Ben, and they were in that storeroom, and he was trying to explain himself, and he was trying to say, like, I want your back, and he showed up and started answering those questions, and he's like, hi, I'm just this random guy. And then her roommate's boyfriend walked up and he's like, oh, hi, Ben. And then he's like, you ruined the plan. And I love that. That's one of my other favorite scenes with the comedic and the whale pants when Theodore, and then they were fighting over her, and then he took her home, and then that's after she read the manuscript and what happened with the fire, and then the whole thing with Jordan. I swear to God, with Ben and Jordan dating way before that, I saw that coming a mile away. You know what? Because she left. He wanted her around. She's like, I can't continue this November 9th because I'll be back next year and you need time with your family. In all honesty, I was kind of on Fallon's side there. I knew that she was going to say that, and honestly, I don't know why I wasn't on her side. If you're going to start something, you have to finish it, and that's basically what she said, despite the fact that we broke Ben's heart. But she did leave him, and I said, wouldn't it be funny if he ends up with Jordan, because she just lost her husband. They're both hurting. I said, something's going to happen. Either they're going to happen right away, or they're going to kiss, and it's going to happen. But it turned out that didn't happen. They started talking and bonding, and then it happened, and he broke Fallon's heart. Fallon can't get over him, which is when Theodore comes in. The guy was an a-hole, but she was trying to get over Ben, and in all honesty, he was done. And Theodore's like, do you have a girlfriend? And he's like, no, well, the girls hit me up and stuff, and I was just like, oh, he did break up with Jordan because he felt bad. And then I think after he broke up with her, after he saw Fallon at the restaurant, we want to know why why her mother was reading and there was tears in her eyes. She's like, why didn't you do anything about it? But it turned out that she was crying because she felt for Ben, and I felt for Ben too, because Fallon still, no matter how much she hated him, through whatever thing happened, she still liked him, she still loved him, they still ended up together, and she looked past his insecurities that he had with Fallon and everything that happened in between, because they still loved each other, they still cared about each other, and they wanted to be together no matter what, because something was pulling them closer together. No matter how much she hated him, she still loved him. Even after Jordan, she still loved him, and she still wanted to be with him no matter who she was with, or no matter who he was with. They were determined to get together, and I liked that. And obviously they were going to get together in the end anyway, because it's a book, and well, despite the fact that they had shocking moments, we kind of knew that Fallon and Ben were going to be together. And I had read some quotes about this, I think, on Instagram, and I said, this is a good book. And I was trying to figure out which one I read on Instagram, and I think I figured it out. I also liked the scene where they didn't go out to dinner because they fell asleep in her apartment, and then she had to be in New York the next day because that was the day she was leaving. And I was looking forward to that scene where she was going to dress up, and they were going to have a conversation over dinner and to get to know them a little more. But they fell asleep and they missed it, and I was like, oh my God, what happened? I was looking forward to that. Colleen Hoover has her own way of working things out with these books, and that was it. And I was so upset that they didn't go out to the dinner, and I don't know, I was just looking forward to that scene. But it was funny because they both fell asleep and then she had to leave. And this book had its funny moments as well. I like the airport scene where he dropped her off in the beginning of the book and he's like, okay, bye. And then she's like, well, okay. And they just made this arrangement. So she's like, okay, I guess I'm going back on the airplane. And then he comes running in the airport. He's like, Fallon. She's rating his performance as like a love scene in a book because she doesn't like the cliches. And honestly, a lot of cliches in books do happen, but this is just an ironic way of putting them into place and making them happen. And she's like, well, it was kind of like a seven. He's like, I can do better than that. I liked when he was running to her in the airport. It wasn't dramatic, not like in those cheesy movies where they just kiss and it's like, I've been wanting to be with you for the longest time. It was not like that at all. It was kind of like a parody of that, if I am going to be honest. They were making fun of it, and I liked that because it was comedic and parody-like and still romantic at the same time, and I liked that idea. And then the second time he gets on the airplane with her, I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd November night, and he was giving her another part of their assignment because they wrote down things for each other and they didn't have contact with each other because they didn't have phones or anything because that was part of it. So she went back to New York where she had moved. He was on the plane and she's like, oh my god, I thought he was going to get on the plane. He's like, no, I just want to give you some questions that I need you to answer so the next time we meet each other you can tell me this. And he said, I spent $100 on this plane ticket. Or was it like $400? I spent like $400 on this plane ticket just to give this to you. And then he makes an excuse to get off the plane. I love that scene. It was funny. It made me laugh. I love Ben's personality. He's so funny. He made me laugh throughout the whole book when it wasn't dramatic. And the parts with his brothers were funny as well. Like, it was funny. I don't want to go back to him. He's funny. Because, like, I like one of Ian's, like, she's like, hi, Ian. And then she just walks away. Because she was at Ben's house because Jordan was getting married to Kyle. And then she didn't go to the wedding because of the November 9th thing. I liked the scene during the plane. That was really funny. I loved that scene. It was very well written and it was so good. And it had its funny parts. Ben found his mother dead, and I can't imagine all that happening, and I'm like, I was so confused reading that because it was incorporated into the manuscript, and that's something a child should not find, is their mother dead and finding out that she had killed herself because of that reason, and the reason being that she had cancer, and that's something that you should never experience. Now both of his parents are gone, and they still at the family house, and then they gave it up, and then I think they ended up moving in together at the end. I don't know. But there was so many unanswered questions at the end of this book that I want to know and I wanted a sequel. Because at the end of every Colleen Hoover book, there's always questions. And we get a little bit of a sequel if the characters make a cameo in the next book, which I liked a lot. And, like, we get a little bit of the story, but not much. Because, like, we get, like, cameos, not just in Colleen Hoover books, but, like, Stephanie Perkins. They always make cameos in books because we want to see what the characters have been up to since the last book. Like Anne the French Kiss, like Anna, and then like Lola make a cameo in Isla, and then Isla makes a cameo in Anna because that was kind of like a prequel to her book. But I like cameos from characters. It's one of my favorite things that a author can do is incorporate it. You can't do it much with like fantasy, like what I write, because the characters is part of a series or a book, and it's a new series, and unless you write contemporaries because it fits. It's mainly known to write love novels or contemporaries. It's easy because you're the same author and you could write the characters and you can be the author. You can do whatever you want. You could probably do it in fantasy. You never know. And especially if it's part of a series, you know you're going to see the characters again. Unless you're Cassandra Clare and you put Clary and Jace in the Lady Midnight at the end because they make a little cameo. Depends. You're the author. You can do whatever you want. It's your series. But it's mainly done, I think, in contemporaries, new adult books like those. I could be wrong. I haven't read enough books with cameos in them because cameos are new to me, and I like reading them in books because we see what the character's been up to since the last book and what they've been doing and everything that's been happening in their lives and everything that happens around that, and I just love that, and it adds a little bit more to the story, and we got more characters, and it's fun. I like it. I'm just gonna point something out here. Every scene that Colleen Hoover wrote with the sex scenes in this book, and Colleen Hoover has a very distinct way of writing sex scenes because she writes these sex scenes like better than 50 Shades of Grey, way better than any other love novel I've read, because I don't read many love scenes unless it's fantasy or whatever, because reading 50 Shades of Grey, it's like the same sex scene over and over. Not that I don't hate the books, I don't. I explained this in a video before. But it just kept going and going. It's like the same thing, and it's unique in its own way, but it just kept going. And there's something about Colleen Hoover's sex scenes that I love, and Terry Moffey writes great ones too, from like Shatter Me. It's just the ones that aren't 50 Shades of Grey I like. And I like this sex scene, and the one with Miles and Tate, like there was numerous sex scenes in that book. Numerous. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. But with November 9th, like, there was only like maybe 3 or 4. That's it. Like, and like I said, going back to Love, there's like maybe 4 or 5 each chapter, because the book surrounds a sexual relationship. But this is far from it. It's more romantic, but it did have its moments where the sexual content was very, very good. They were heated. No matter the fact that I liked Ugly Love more, it was still a very heated sex scene, a very well written sex scene. And the first time they had sex, it was after she got out of the shower. And it was not like a normal sex scene where it's like, this is going to get weird. Because I make these weird observations. But it's not like, oh, we're taking clothes off, or she's wearing like that's a cliche. And that sex scene was not like that. Like the first time they had sex, it was after she got out of the shower, and she was just wearing nothing but his t-shirt. And they took off her shirt, and then they had sex. And it was very, very detailed and very hot sex scene, and I was just like, oh my god. And I liked when they made love for the first time, because it was like the second November 9th, I think. And I don't think it was planned, but they loved each other. I liked the way that the sex scene was like this. It was very good. And like I said, there wasn't many sex scenes in this book, but this was one of the many. The storage closet in the club with Ben, and oh my god, and he's going on a skirt and they're having stuff. That was a hot scene too, because they're in a small room, confined, hot. All of her scenes were hot. Hot, hot, hot. I love them very much, which is why I don't recommend anybody under 13 read them. And the people, because this is the spoiler section, you guys read it, you're probably over the age of 13, and you know why nobody, relatives, anybody, brother, sister, anybody that you know isn't gonna read the book because of these sex scenes. And obviously the language, because there was like F-bombs thrown around. But not as much as like 50 Shades of Grey, but they were still there, and the content was mainly sexual. But I'm still not positive on the genre. I think it's new adult, but I could be wrong. Because I think I read an interview with Colleen Hoover, and she had said November 9th was new adult, but I'm not positive on that. But the sexual content in this book was like dead on, and I liked it a lot. And it was one of my favorite moments of the book, because in Colleen Hoover's writing, now that I read Ugly Love, I know to expect sex scenes in books, and I know that they're going to be hot, and that's what I look forward to, as creepy as that sounds. I look forward to those sex scenes because I know they're going to be good. I know that they're going to be hot. Or if I read about an author, and before I had read his or her series, like, for example, I read about Sarah J. Maas, and she writes Court of Thorns and Roses, and she wrote Throne of Glass. I have read that she writes very hot sex scenes in her books, and that's what I look forward to. And I had read the same thing about Terry Moffey, and they're all true. And, well, I didn't really get to any sex scenes in Throne of Glass yet, but I know that I'm going to look forward to those scenes because she's known for writing those scenes. And if you're a good author, you write a good sex scene, because you don't get much of those sex scenes in Nicholas Sparks' books, because he just writes after the fact, not when it actually happens, unless you're watching the movie and they showed the sex scene because they filmed it and they want to give you the idea. But in the books, it's just after the fact. Like, the last thing you see is clothes coming off and kissing. But that's it. And then he ends the chapter, or he goes to a separate scene, and that's all we see, because that's his writing. I guess that's what he prefers. For romance, he doesn't write new adult. What I read about Ugly Love was a notebook means like 50 Shades of Grey, which I don't understand, because it was not like 50 Shades of Grey. It was way better. This was way better than 50 Shades of Grey. But the sexual content was very good, and the sex scenes are good, as well as in Ugly Love, because they were sprinkled throughout the book, and not like every chapter was like, hey, we're gonna have sex. Well, they had sex here and sex here. It's not like in 50 Shades of Grey they're having sex every 5 minutes. Like, using that bed. I'm sorry, they didn't break the mattress in 50 Shades of Grey, and it kept going. They were sensual. They were written in their own unique way. And I don't know why the BDSM or whatever. I'm not going into the 50 Shades rant, but I still like the books. But they were sprinkled, and they were written in a different way that I liked and enjoyed, and that's why Colleen Hoover's writing is very good. And I like the way she writes love scenes, sex scenes. I should have used love scenes from the beginning. I apologize for my language with sex. We're all adults here, so I'm just going to say the word sex since I started using it and not using the love scenes. But every scene that she has wrote with sex. It was very good. I enjoyed them a lot. That's one of the things I look forward to reading a Colleen Hoover book, because it's expected in most of her novels, which is what I expected. Look, and everything with the dialogue, the comedic points, the storyline itself, everything was perfect in this book that I enjoyed very much, which is why I'm book talking it. Because if I like a book, I'm going to book talk it. And this is my second Colleen Hoover book that I read, and the second book that I'm book talking. I did not read any other Colleen Hoover books. I have to catch up with them because I want to read more Colleen Hoover books. I have to read Confess, which I think is a TV show on a certain app on iPhone or smartphone. I got to read Slammed. I'm going to read It Ends With Us very soon, which I'm looking forward to because I read the blurb for it on Goodreads, and it looks so good, and I can't wait to read it. I'll probably be book talking that too, because Colleen Hoover books are going to be a regular book talk thing on this channel because I love her books, and she's just such a fantastic author, and her Instagram posts are funny too. But I love her books, and I gotta catch up. I gotta read her books. This is just one of my favorite books of hers that I read, and definitely I would give this a reread. I would read this again. I'm actually gonna reread Ugly Love very soon because I missed that book and it was good. And if you want to check out my Ugly Love book talk, I gotta go in depth of how much I love that book. Not as much as I love this book. I love this book a lot, but if you want to check out my Ugly Love book talk and the spoilers and that, you can check out it on this playlist that is Book Talks. That is my video. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys liked my little breakdown of the book and my little review. It's been a while since I did book reviews, so I'm a little rusty. My last book talk before this was Lady Midnight, and that's the first one I filmed in a while since Ignite Me, which was like last summer, because this time last year I think I was filming book talks. I didn't do enough on this channel to get into the swing of things and to record these and edit them and talk about books, but I think I did pretty much of a good job because every review is unique in its own way, and I'm going to do more book talks on this channel. I have to get into books that I'm actually going to review. I'm going to be reviewing Throne of Glass. Spoiler, but I will be reviewing Throne of Glass very soon, and there's going to be a lot more book talks added to this channel. I said this at the end of my other video, but it's true. I'm going to add more book talks. I'm going to say it again because some of you just watch my book talks. So those of you who have, or new subscribers, I'm going to add more book talks to this channel. I know there's not a lot, but I'm in the process of trying to give this channel a facelift, adding more vlogs, adding more whatever. There may be more book talks added to this channel. There's not a lot right now, but there will be, I promise. So get ready for that, okay? The playlist is fairly small, but it will grow, I promise. Over the course of the next few months, it will grow. I will add more book talks, don't worry about it. If you are not following, I am Rail Writing on Instagram and Twitter, and on Snapchat, I'm DivergentFan93. So follow, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye!